The Eastern Conference playoff matchups look a lot different than last season, with the exception of the 1-8 matchup featuring the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. Now, Jimmy Butler does not play. What can we expect in this series?
The only thing that's left, and I don't mean to say it like that, but Tyler Hero will have to take the lead role in making sure that the Miami Heat stay as competitive as possible in this series if they remotely think they can win it. That's it. And then, of course, we're going to need more from Bam Adebayo. It's going to have to be the two of them, the duo, Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo, to help carry the Heat through this series. And if you followed up with the rookie, who's been playing phenomenally in his rookie season, I like his play, Jaime, then I think at least the Heat can be competitive. But Jimmy Butler is the soul, right? So without him being
Yes.
on the court, without him doing, all of the skill level play that he does when he turns on playoff Jimmy Butler, then it's going to be a long. It may I say a long road, but it may be short. But hopefully Tyler Hero can help lead the charge, which would be great for his career. Can you imagine? So again, if nothing else, at least make it
Mhm.
competitive, and please do not allow the Heat to get swept. That's it. I don't know what else to say. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I think even with Jimmy Butler, the Celtics have that chip on their shoulder
Yeah.
because the number 8 Heat knocked him out
Sure
last
did.
season, right? And all the negative scrutiny that they received after that, everybody was criticizing Joe Mazzulla on down to the last person on the bench. So even with Jimmy, I think the Celtics would have taken this matchup very personal, and they still would have won the entire series. I mean, because when you look at it, the health of the Boston Celtics is going to reign supreme over the Miami Heat, who are going to be without their heart and soul. And I mean, Jimmy, the way he played in the play-in game for the Heat to even get to this point, I mean, it was phenomenal,
I
right?
know.
His leadership,
I
the
know.
way that everyone looked up to him. I don't really see them doing that to Tyler Hero or Bam Adebayo,
Hmm.
but they do need Jimmy on the bench to even give them that spark, right?
They do need Jimmy to Udonis Haslam. Absolutely. They need
Mm-hmm,
Jimmy to do Udonis Haslam. Absolutely. He needs to
mm-hmm.
be the cheerleader on the sideline. I can say this, that if the Boston Celtics go 7 in this series, they still make it talked about. Without Jimmy Butler? Come on, really?
Mm-hmm.
Celtics really, if the Celtics wanted to save face, first of all, they have to win the series. That's number one. If they really want to change the narrative and kind of have people forget about what happened in 2023, they need to make sure they do it in 4. That's it. Jimmy Butler's not playing, so now what's the excuse? You're gonna allow, which if Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, and Jaime Jaquez can do it. I mean, that's gonna be. Can you imagine that discussion?
Oh
And then I'm
goodness.
quite sure Joe Mazzulla will be packing his bags. What? How do you do that in round one with a teamless Jimmy Butler? So it just seems like the odds are in favor, especially without Jimmy Butler, for the Boston Celtics to sweep the Miami Heat in this series. It just seems
Mm-hmm.
like it makes sense. I just don't understand why this series would go 6 games. I don't get it. Right? Without Jimmy
Right,
Butler,
right. And that is why I have the Celtics in 5.
I have the Celtics in 5 as well. I do believe, even though it should not be a sweep, I think it should be a nice gentleman's sweep. And I do believe that the Heat can at least get one win, at least one. So, but anything past 5, then I'm going to be like, can the Celtics really, really go deep and win a championship if they cannot get past the heatless Jimmy Butler? I don't understand it. Jimmy Butler, not
Yeah.
on the Heat. I know you say it, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Okay, so let's move on to the 2-7 matchup with the New York Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, hey, Joel Embiid,
Mm, mm, mm.
I don't think he's healthy. He's not
No,
healthy.
no. When he went down on that knee in the first in game one, I was like, he'll play through it, but I don't. I just don't see him lasting full 7 games. I don't see it. I just really don't see it. I agree with you. I don't think he is healthy. He looked labored. We talked about it in the previous discussion about how Joel Embiid looked in the playing tournament, how he looked like he couldn't get himself together by the end of the game. And now
Mm-hmm.
here we are with him not being as conditioned as he probably would have been had he not missed so many games at the end of the season, but then also coming back on an injury that he probably re-injured in round one, game one of the playoffs. I just I don't know. I don't I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Without Joel Embiid, Similar to without Jimmy Butler for the Heat, what can these teams really do without their primary star?
Not a whole lot. You know, Joel Embiid will take 20, 25 shots a game. So you're going to be missing that productivity. You can only get so much from Tyrese Maxey. He played well in game one. But Tobias Harris
Oh my
has been
gosh.
sub 10 points. I just don't know.
7 points at the end of the game. Tobias, you make way too much money.
Yeah.
Way too much money for that type of performance, especially with a compromised Joel Embiid. Especially.
Yes. Yes.
This is your time to step it up. I mean, if you're going to show up and now prove to the 76ers fans that you've earned your salary, right now, this is the time to do it. Right now. And I don't know if you can.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, the Philadelphia 76ers, I like their bench, right? You got Campaign, Buddy Hield, who has been a sort of a disappointment for me.
Kind of like,
Nicholas
yeah.
Batum and Paul Reed, who said this will be the easier matchup. Well, Paul Reed, with Joel Embiid hampered, now's your time. You know, you said that you would rather face the Knicks than the Celtics. Well, let's see. Let's see you show out.
This is it. This is it. Now, is Joel scheduled to not play the rest of the season?
Well, according to Nick
Or he's
Nurse,
going to work it
yeah,
through?
he gonna tough it out, but I don't think that's a smart move because I don't think they could win the series. One, and two, what does that look like for the future of the Sixers? You know, is he gonna risk it like a little Isaiah Thomas did for the Celtics? These organizations, they'll move on without you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Joel Embiid has a tough decision to make. Do I go and try to win this chip for 2024, or do I rest up and just make myself available for 2025? I don't know. I mean, how much longer will the 76ers fan base deal with his injuries and them not being able to go all the way to the promised land? That's where we're at. That's where we're at with him.
Yep.
And the Sixers. Like, wow. When will the process finally be complete? Ooh. Yeah. So with all that being said, I have Knicks in 7.
Oh, wow. You think it's going the distance?
I think it's going to go the distance. Yes. I think so. Now,
Wow.
trust me, we talked a lot about the Sixers, but the Knicks, again, I am a Jalen Brunson fan. I was a fan when he was with the Dallas Mavs. I have become more of a fan now that he's with the New York Knicks. And I just don't know. And then you got Josh Hart.
Yeah, I like
What
Josh.
is...
If only they had Julius Randle.
But they don't need him. If Joel Embiid is not playing, I think that this matchup would be an easy one to get past without Joel Embiid. I think so. Yes.
Okay.
Now, what that would look like in round 2, who knows? But this one right here, I think the Knicks can most definitely pull it off. I'm not saying that's why I said in 7, because I don't think it'll be easy, right? Because if Joel Embiid does tough it through and is able to complete games and do 80% of what he does, or at least even 70% of what he does, it can be a game changer because that's how skilled he is, right? So, yeah.
But yeah, I have the New York Knicks in 6.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Philly can snatch a couple, right? Especially at home. They can snatch a couple of wins at home, but I don't see them winning the series at all because I don't see Joel Embiid finishing the series. It's going to be too painful to watch, and I think management will say, "Hey, we know where your heart is. I know you want to be on the court, but we're thinking about the future, and we just can't keep risking your knees like this." Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the Milwaukee Bucks and the Indiana Pacers. If Giannis Antetokounmpo doesn't play, and we're relying completely on Dame Dollar to take the Bucks to the second round when he couldn't do it with the Portland Trailblazers, I mean, how realistic is this? I mean, seriously.
It has to be realistic. Dame Dollar needs it for his legacy, right? So you were unsuccessful when you were with the Portland Trailblazers, right? To lead the Portland Trailblazers deep into the playoffs. You are now with a new franchise, with the Milwaukee Bucks, with this team, with this set of players that are playing with you. Now, yes, Giannis Antetokounmpo may be compromised, right? We understand that he's doubtful. I read something earlier today that he's doubtful. Okay, well, that's fine. But even if he does come, he will be compromised, right? Although he may still try to go ahead and push through. But Dame, this is it. If you want to change your legacy again, This is it. The stage is wide open for Dame Dollar, Damian Lillard to lead the Milwaukee Bucks through round one. Wide open. This is his time with the people that he's playing with. Come on. They've already been here anyway. You're playing with championship caliber players, right? These people, these teammates won the championship with Giannis Antetokounmpo. So you are just a plug. You should be plugged in and help carry it at this point because Giannis did all the work. They've been playing together for years. You are the new guy on the team with all of this notoriety, and everybody's waiting for you to do it. This is it. Dame has to. His legacy depends on it, and his status in the league, I think, depends on it.
Okay. Well, you're right. They did win a chip without Dame, but they also didn't have Doc Rivers at the helm. And we all know Doc Rivers has a history of fumbling in the playoffs. Now, he is an NBA champion head coach, but here recently, he has not been able to lead his teams deep into the playoffs and definitely has not won a chip lately. So there's that. So I don't know who would get the blame if Giannis can't go. Would it be Dame or would it be Doc? I don't know.
Doc, you know it's always the coach. It's always the coach. Always a coach, but subliminally, it will be Dame Dollar as well. Absolutely. Absolutely. I am on bated breath to see it happen. It has to. Now, because think about the people he's playing with. Chris Middleton. Is Chris Middleton 100%? He may be 90. Let's just be honest, right? Then you got Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis. I mean, you don't have Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday was a part of that championship run. He's over there with the Celtics.
That's true.
You are missing that. As a matter of fact, Dame Dollar has replaced Drew Holiday. So let's really see what you can do, right? So I don't know. Now, although the Pacers, they did kind of eat up the Bucks in the regular series. I think they were 4-1. Pacers, I believe Pacers were 4-1. They won 4 games, and the Milwaukee Bucks was able to win 1. No, 3-1. No, 4-1. They played 5 games, 4-1. The Pacers, they look nice. And with Giannis Antetokounmpo not being on the floor, the Bucks lose size. A little bit of it at least, right? Especially size, length, and power, because Giannis, he gonna get his, right? And so, then you have the players on the Pacers that, without Giannis, can pretty much, unless Bobby and Brook Lopez can make it happen. I mean, what else are you talking about?
Right. And the Pacers have been synonymous with not playing defense all season. Even though they have Miles Turner, who I think is a pretty good defender, but it's just not their identity, right? The Pacers, everybody knows they'll kill you on the offensive side of the basketball. But when it comes to defense, it's a cakewalk, right? Tyrese Halliburton, looking for him to have a big series. Because remember when he came back from his hamstring injury, he just wasn't the same player. But towards the end of the season, he started to get his mojo back. I just cannot wait to see what he looks like in this big series to take the Indiana Pacers through the first round, hopefully.
I am a little sad that Benedict Mathurin will be out. I think he is nice firepower off the bench when he comes into the game. So the Pacers will be missing that. But, they still got TJ and TJ can get you something. I like how he comes off the bench and he kind of, changes up the pace a little bit and sparks some energy in the game when he comes. So I just think that the Pacers, without Giannis Antetokounmpo, I need to make sure that's clear, right? Can have a fighting chance of really winning this series. If they're coached, they make minimum mistakes, right? Because they are going to be going up against championship players. We can't forget that, right? So,
yeah, and Spicy P, Siakam. We're talking about a closer, a champion. I mean, his experience, it could bleed off into some of these players who have not made it to the promised land.
That's true. That is true. I know there are a lot of, if you think about the playoff landscape right now in 2024, there are some inexperienced teams that are competing for a championship right now. Quite a few of them. So I know that experience helps with winning championships, but I'm wondering if this year, 2024, will be an inexperienced team that's going to take it all the way. I just can't wait to see it, So that's going to be. So with all that being said, I have Bucks in 6.
Really?
Yeah. I still think the championship experience in this particular matchup will probably will supersede.
Wow. And I have the Pacers in 7. I think
Okay.
it goes the entire distance. And at the end of the day, the offensive firepower that the Pacers have will trump the Milwaukee Bucks.
With or without Giannis. Either way.
Either way, yeah.
Either way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Okay. So, lastly, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Orlando Magic. You talked about inexperienced playoff uh,
Yeah.
teams. But what about the Orlando Magic? Happy to see them here, though.
Oh,
I'm
love it.
thrilled.
Love it. Love it. Game 1 was an eye opener, right? I think for them as well. Yes. And yeah.
All right. So, one glaring thing that stood out for me in Game 1 in this series was Donovan Mitchell shooting the ball way too much.
Again, I'm telling you.
I just don't understand. Well, maybe
Mhm.
I do understand because he's been getting a lot of the criticism and the scrutiny that he hasn't been able to take his team, similar to Damian Lillard, right? There's a lot of that kind of storyline in this playoffs. He hasn't been able to take his team deep into the playoffs. And he feels like it's his responsibility to do so, but he's shooting the ball way too much.
We've talked about this.
Yes.
And we know that this plan of attack is unsuccessful the deeper they go into the playoffs. It was with the Jazz. Now it's with the Cavs. Last season, the same. Like, if you don't share that ball with Darius Garland, I'm going to come through my TV screen on him. No, stop doing that. We already know. Okay, now you were able to secure a win in Game 1. But Donovan, you can't do it. You got too many other skillful players on there. You don't even have to. That's the cold part. You don't even have to. And you do it anyway.
I know. And that stood out to me like a sore thumb. However, the Orlando Magic were playing pretty good team basketball. I just like their defensive schemes, their sets, right? And I love how Jamal Mosley is on the court barking. Like he is just, oh my goodness. Yeah.
I know. You know what? I think Coach Mosley can really help the team combat and probably stop because, they have strong defense and they're young and athletic, right? If they can put a stop to what Donovan Mitchell is attempting to do, I believe they can win the series. Yeah. Just that, go to Donovan. Like if you can force everybody else to do something, I believe they can win the series because Donovan, he will ruin the series if he keeps it up. So
yes,
I think that there's a way. I think there's a way for the Magic. And if the Magic beat the Cavs,
the storylines, right?
Oh my goodness, it's going to be off the chain, and Donovan Mitchell's going to have to go hide under a rock for the summer.
He is,
and I don't know if you want to do that. So,
yeah.
What's your prediction?
I have the Orlando Magic in 6, but I need Franz Wagner. I need a little bit more from him. He has not looked like the same player from earlier in the season, but I think he'll get it back. Banchero's just. I just love his game. They're just a big team. Now, normally the Cavs have the advantage because they're really tall. Yeah. Well, the Orlando Magic got 5, 6, 7 dudes, 6'11" as well. Yeah, so it's nothing. Yeah. That's not a big deal.
I think the only thing that's standing in the way of the Orlando Magic will be inexperience. That's it. And I think it'll be, down the stretch, of course, right? With all that being said, I have Cavs in 7. I said I have Cavs in 7. I think they'll pull it through.
I'm going with the Orlando Magic in 6 games.
Okay. We'll see.